Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us today on the 7th day of June 2022. It's a Tuesday, Martes po. Baka tayo po ay magkalituhan. Marami sa atin, wala nang kalendaryo. Most of us have thrown out the planner, thrown out the calendar. We go by our phones. Anyway, welcome to the program today. We promised to give you an interesting lineup. Two ladies will be joining us. One is someone that we supported strongly during the campaign, the elections, and we're happy that she made it once again back to the Senate, none other than Senator Pia Ontiveros. Then she will be followed by another guest who is a campaigner for protecting the environment, none other than marine conservation advocate Pia Roxas Ocampo, regarding keeping our reefs, our marine or seawaters clean of plastics. Okay, but before all of that, let's first go to ano ba sinabi ko? Risa Hontiveros. Pia ba ang sinabi ko? So sorry, just kasi mga magagandang magkakapatid na yan, nakakalito. Okay, so sorry, Madam Senator. Anyway, let's go with our daily starter first from Gerald Brooks. And complaining is what we do when we are really not praying. Okay? Please keep this in mind. Keep it close to your heart, and we all need to remind ourselves that when we are complaining, it only means we are not praying. And more importantly, it is also an indicator that we are trying to do everything on our own. I have been guilty of that time and again, and I thank the Lord for reminding me that pag hindi mo na kaya, Beltran, baka naman gusto mong lumuhod at magdasal so I can come in and take care of the situation. So please don't complain, instead pray. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. Medyo kakaiba po ang pictures ng Philippine Star ngayon, pataasan ng platform shoes. Okay, the front page of the Philippine Star, the headline, BBM Party, 272 million spent in campaign. Yan daw po yung expenditures of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas as they reported their campaign expenditures to the COMELEC. At the top of the front page, Palace appeals to jeep drivers keep flying routes. Okay. Ayun po, because the jeepney drivers, before the 7 peso increase today, were already saying, malamang at malamang we will stop driving because we can no longer afford it. But with the 7 peso increase in diesel today, nalintikan na. Okay. Meanwhile, Duque, first booster should be mandatory. The Secretary of Health, Francisco Duque, is insisting that the first booster shot or COVID vaccine number 3, kumbaga sa mambo, dapat daw po ay mandatory. Okay, that center photo is a photo of the participants to the Miss World Philippines 2022, and ang nagwagi, Gwendolyn Forniol of Negros Occidental. Okay, in her evening gown. Ayan po, no? Nandiyan dyan kasi I hope I got that right. But anyway, those are the participants of the Miss World Philippines 2022. Sabi ko nga, pataasan ng takong. Hindi, ng platform shoes. Kasi baka after wearing the platform shoes, baka pwede na siya pang PBA. Okay, PNP. Illegal rallies not allowed near inauguration site. Okay, the Philippine National Police has declared that any rally to be staged during the inauguration of BBM will be illegal and not allowed. The lower photo to the left is a photo of Mount Bulusan that has calmed down and is now just emitting steam. Hindi na po siya bumubulwak ng 1 kilometro haba o taas ng pyroclastic burn or whatever smoke. Anyway, residents told to leave Bulusan danger zone, and anti-red tape execs appeal suspension. The Civil Service Commission allows flexi work for government employees. And the bottom, United Nations Philippines recently celebrated World Bicycle Day with a bike around the SM Mall of Asia. Yan na po ang ating front page of the Philippine Star today. And now let's go to our first guest. Naku po, siguro kung in person to, nakurot na ako. Kasi nasabi ko, Pia, alam ko yung magkakapatid na yan, meron silang sibling rivalry. Sino sa kanilang mas maganda? Okay, let's bring in our favorite here on agenda, none other than Senator Risa Hontiveros. Madam Senator, congratulations and welcome back.
Maraming salamat po, Cito. Okay lang po yan. Bukod sa kapatid ko, nandito rin po si Miss Pia Roxas Ocampo. So, okay lang po yan.
Okay. Okay, litong-lito na sa mga may Ria, may Pia. Okay. And anyway, Madam Senator, congratulations on your return to the Philippine Senate. Now, the big question is, what is your first priority? Because maraming haka-haka, maraming mga concerns na ano kaya mangyayari, opposition this, etc. What is your real concern, your first agenda?
First agenda ko talaga, Cito, and I've been working on it the past few weeks and will continue in a meeting today, ay yung pagbubuo talaga ng minorya. That essential part of the Senate as an institution na pangunahing mag-check and balance, mag-fiscalize, at the same time, nakakayanin pa rin namin at ulit makipagtrabaho sa mayorya. Doon naman sa mga common bills namin, common resolutions, common budget interventions, as we did in the last 6 years. Kaya nga ako nakapagpasa ng higit 20 batas sa ilalim ng papalabas na administrasyon because of that attitude and behavior of senators na kaya namin at kaya ko ring makipagtrabaho sa kahit sinong kasamang senador basta parehong mga advocacies. And of course, the Senate itself as an institution in its more than 1 century of life so far, ay meron ding katangian ng pagiging independyente. I mean, how many moments, critical moments in our history that the country needed an independent institutional voice at napakaraming beses na yun ang Senado. So yun yung first priority ko ngayon, pagbubuo namin ng minorya para magawa ang aming papel sa loob ng Senado at para ang Senado rin ay patuloy na magampanan ang kanyang papel sa ating politika at gobyerno. And broadly speaking, kahit ako yung nag-iisang opposition senator daw who made it back to the Senate, there's a broader opposition out there in the country. And even beyond the opposition, well, nandun yung buong bansa natin, Cito. And there are so many issues that make us Filipinos suffer and worry every day na pwede nating pagkaisahan, na pagtulong-tulungan na solusyonan.
Is this thing about majority, minority, pro and opposition? Ito ba just a creation of news, of media, of culture? But when you go into the Senate, medyo iba ang ika nga nila, iba yung how things are done, because we always hear about opposition, about majority, etc. But things get done, and when we look at the videos, you guys are all chummy. I mean, not in a bad way, no? You're all very civil, very friendly with each other. What is the real situation? Because I, for one, would like to remove all the misimpressions about how things go and the relationships that are there.
That's an interesting question. Actually, what you see is what you get. Yung nakikita nyong we are civil, many of us are have become personal friends. Totoo po yun. Madalas sabihin na ang Senado, same they say for the House, collegial body. At
Mhm.
totoo yun hindi lang sa pagtatrabaho namin na kayang-kaya namin at maraming beses nagawa to cross the minority-majority line and make common cause on those common advocacies. Pero human nature kung magkakasama kami every day, several days a week, magkakatrabaho sa mga bagay na importante sa amin, it can't be avoided nagiging magkakaibigan ang marami sa amin. At the same time, dahil mga professional kami na legislators, kapag naman hindi nagkakasundo on any legislative agenda, kaya din naming mag-interpellatan, Sito, kaya din naming magdebate na magkainitan man sa debate, sa floor, kaya pa rin naming manatiling magkakaibigan. And at the very least, no, yung civility na yon, yung respetuhan na iyon. So, I think sana ma-appreciate din yon ng ating mga kababayan na each of us, individual senators, miyembro man ng minority o majority, we're really trying to do our job bilang tao. Marami sa amin ay nagiging magkakaibigan din. At the same time, bilang mga Pilipino, lalo na alam namin na may kasama akong si Nathan Kimpo, ang paglalarawan niya sa Philippine democracy ay contested democracy. Marami sa amin ay concerned talaga na, we speak up on the important issues, we give our 2 cents worth, and mag-participate kami sa prosesong ito ng legislation to try to come up with a consensus or a compromise or manalo sa botohan sa mga polisiya na tingin namin importante sa ating mga Pilipino.
Okay, now, how are things done in the Senate, Senator Ontiveros? Because scratch your back, you scratch my back arrangement where, okay, if you want your bill passed, you also have to support my bill. Kumbaga may trade-off, may mga ika nga or some people have said in the Senate, sasabihin, uy, request ito ni Senate President or Malacanang is really pushing. How are things worked out?
Ganyan talaga, Sito, through negotiation, minsan or madalas may element na I scratch your back, you scratch mine. But more often than not, yung ganung mga consensus or compromise ay batay sa common values or common interest represented in the bill. Kunyari, itong bill ay para sa ganitong sektor, para sa ganyang sektor, o itong bill ay para sa ganitong rehiyon or ganyang rehiyon. And kami, mga senador elected at large by the whole country, binabalanse naming lahat iyan. Kung miyembro ka ng majority, as we were for a brief time in the 17th Congress, 2016, as I experienced for a long time ago sa House of Representatives nung kinatawan ako ng Akbayan Party. Kung miyembro ka naman sa majority, then responsibilidad mo rin na isulong yung legislative agenda ng executive. So natural lang yun. Kung naman miyembro ka ng minority, as I have been in the past more than half decade, mas ang papel naman ay maging responsableng minority or in my case, responsableng opposition, mag-check and balance talaga, mag-fiscalize talaga. At the same time, kung may common bills, edi pag-igihan din. So, ganon. Sabi nga, di ba, politics is the art of the possible and legislation is also negotiation. So, kailangan naming pag-igihan yung ganyang mga proseso.
Will there be a shift? Will there be a major shift in the kind of legislation that we can expect from Congress and the Senate? Because of COVID, the focus has been on health. Because of COVID, the digital reality has been adopted by the Filipinos. Because of COVID, we now have, after COVID, we now have the impact of the Ukraine-Russian war regarding food shortage and food nationalism. Ang worry ng mga tao, kasi katulad yan, pinoproblema ng jeepney driver, wala na silang kabuhayan. What can we expect from the Senate in terms of legislative agendas?
All of the above, Cito. May continuity din sa mga legislative agenda na nabitin nung nakaraang 18th Congress. Halimbawa, yung aking Linga para kay Lolo at Lola Bill, no? Yung Universal Social Pension para sa senior citizens. Yung walang kamatayang Security of Tenure Bill. Pati yung mga deliberasyon pa rin sa SOGI Equality Bill. Pero dahil nga sa pandemya, dahil sa lalong nag-boom yung gig economy during these COVID-19 years, I will, for one, be filing more bills about the rights and welfare of workers in the gig economy and still in the informal economy. At syempre, hindi lang ako, lahat siguro kami o lahat siguro tayo, iniintay din yung inaugural address ng President-elect para malinaw din ano yung kanilang program and policy priorities para mas luminaw, mas tumining ano yung posibleng terms of engagement between us in the legislature at sila sa executive naman. So all of these old and newer elements will shape kung ano yung magiging legislative agenda din ng 19th Congress Senate, kaya anong maaasahan sa amin ng ating mga kababayan.
Medyo ako ayoko kasi magdikta sa inyo, no? Baka sabihin may ina-agenda ko kayo. But in the many interviews I've done, one thing that has become very obvious is that while our legislators, our presidents, vice president are changed on a regular basis, the structure of the Philippine government has remained the same for more than 50 years. And but there is the view that, like, let's say for the DENR, saan ka nakakita ng pinagsama ang natural resources at ang environment monitoring or other departments? Do you see a possibility of restructuring the bureaucracy so that there will, like I wrote in my column for tomorrow, that maybe we need an agency for solar power development? Yung mga ganun ba na re-engineering the bureaucracy?
Always a possibility, and responsable din ang legislature sa ganyang mga reorganization. I'm glad you mentioned solar energy. Sana mas tutukan talaga ng Department of Energy ang renewable energies para lalo na sa gitna nitong nagiging diesel o fuel crisis. Grabe yung haba ng pila sa mga gasolinahan at ang sakit ng itinataas na presyo ng diesel and all fuel products affecting the prices of all products on the market. We don't see any end in sight. Kaya sinasabi talaga ng mga RE advocates, andito yung araw, yung tide, yung hydro, yung wind. So, let's speed up the transition from overdependence on fossil fuels at pumihit talaga in larger part in the energy mix sa renewable energies. Ang ganda ng tanong mo, Cito, about the DENR. Mayat maya, ina-argue talaga yon na in the cabinet, may kanya-kanyang department at secretary championing different sectors and issues in Philippine society. Baka ilang beses nang sinabi, baka naman yung pag-champion sa natural resources, exploration, development, and utilization, pwedeng spin off separately. Kumbaga, mas malapit din siya sa DTI. May hiwalay na tututok talaga sa environment or ecological conservation, preservation, kasama na yung climate change mitigation and preparation, di ba? Kasama na yung natural disasters preparation and resilience. Para naman hindi nagkakaroon ng conflicts of interest or yung, di ba, sa DENR, yung mayat-mayang reklamo, ang natcha-champion yung natural resources na sasakripisyo o na-undermine yung sa environment. So that is always a possibility na government reinvents itself para, di ba, maging mas responsive sa mga long-standing needs and demands at mag-keep up din sa pag-evolve nitong mga issues over time, lalong-lalo na dun sa climate crisis and yung nabanggit mo rin, food crisis, na babala ng mga ekonomista, if we don't take the correct urgent actions, baka mag-develop into a food catastrophe.
Well, I don't want to be the prophet of doom, but it's already been indicated by Saudi Arabia that they are planning to raise prices. And there were forecasts, I think, an official of the LTFRB, or was it the DOE, who made a side reference to the possibility that fuel prices will hit 80 to 100 pesos per liter by the end of the year. Now, if that is inevitable, what do you think should be done in terms of employees? Kasi it's a global situation where employees are now saying, we can't afford to go to the office anymore. I mean, aside from the traffic in Metro Manila and urban areas in the Philippines, the mere fact that our fuel costs more than the United States is already, and the Americans can't, are saying they can't afford to go to work on a regular. What adjustments need to be done in the Philippines?
Well, meron ng naunang adjustment na nangyari because of another pressure, which was the COVID-19 pandemic, yung working from home, saka yung hybrid work. And I know na yung iba't ibang sektor ng ekonomiya natin, lalo na sa services at manufacturing, so kasama na yung IT BPO, they really maximized, they really optimized yung pagiging online ng malaking bahagi ng trabaho nila to enable safer work for people. Suportahan din tayo, di ba, Cito, sa pagsusumikap natin magkaroon ng work-life balance, and they haven't let up sa mga advocacies nila sa aming mga policy makers na bigyan ng legal support by force of law yung pagtatrabaho either from home or in a hybrid setup na may bahaging physical on work site, may bahagi ding from home, lalo na kung enabled naman ang ganito, yung mga internet platforms. I think those are very reasonable demands. They're already borne out by actually existing realities in the world of work. Sabi nga nila, nasa fourth industrial revolution na tayo, and the future of work is still evolving before our very eyes, under our feet. So wag sana tayong paatras sa mga dating klase ng mga labor laws or even tax laws na pipilitin talagang bumalik sa pre-pandemic working conditions. Maging flexible naman tayo, and kaming mga legislators, we are minded to reflect in our laws yung work arrangements na nag-emerge na at pinapakitang maayos din naman.
I recently I was in a meeting that was participated in by Mr. Ramon Ang of San Miguel Corporation, and he made a very straightforward suggestion kung paano natin mapapababa ang presyo ng krudo, ng gasolina in particular, at sinabi niya, patanggal na lang natin yung requirement of law na 5% yata yun ng fuel is ethanol or vegetable-based content. Kasi hindi naman tayo nagpro-produce ng ethanol, wala tayong surplus or kapasidad in terms of corn and sugar. And sabi niya, pag inalis nyo lang yung requirement ng batas na dapat may mix ng ethanol, bababa na ang presyo. Now, that is, I think it was mentioned na mga 5 peso reduction yung sa ethanol. Wow. Then there is a suggestion naman that we take out or remove the tax components na increasing taxes because of the CREATE law. What is your position? Because I don't think we can afford 80 to 100 pesos. Talaga? I mean, first time in my life na nagbayad ako ng 4,500 yata o 5,000 sa crudo.
Grabe talaga. And I think as of today, pumalo na nga ng 81 pesos per liter. So talagang something's got to give. Well, yung ganung mga suggestions ni sinabi mo, Cito, ni na Mr. Ang, well worth studying in terms of ano yung mga policy adjustments kailangan natin gawin, both on the taxation side, at kaya rin nga ako naglalobby dati pa na isuspend natin kahit pansamantala yung excise tax on fuel products para bigyan ng relief yung ating mga consumers, mga magsasaka, yung ating public transport sector. So adjustments man dyan sa taxation side, again, adjustments and better, faster work on the renewable energy side. I still have to study if ethanol is considered a renewable energy, but there's no lack of renewable energy.
Ethanol is a product that we import from South America and other countries. And so, as Mr. Ang pointed out, pinayayaman natin yung foreign farmers, hindi yung Filipino.
And then speaking of farmers, yung adjustments in on the agricultural side, immediately urgent action, especially on the food crisis na pinag-usapan natin kanina, and in the short, medium, and long term in terms of our agricultural roadmap. So ito, mga longer term reforms, but we need urgent actions also now to bring down the prices of fuel. And we mentioned some of those earlier.
Being part of the minority, will you automatically be a member of the Commission on Appointments?
Minority will still have seats in the Commission on Appointments on a proportional basis. Bawat dalawang senador ay may isang seat, whether on a party basis or on a tandem basis, at ganon din sa Senate Electoral Tribunal.
Okay, what department appointments will you be particularly paying attention to?
Because of our current and near future situation, Cito, yung departments of health, yung ating yung economic cluster ng ating gobyerno, and actually any and all that have to do with those urgent concerns and our other democracy challenges moving forward.
Okay, are you going to be by the book, or as they say, you will really measure the appointees based on professional competence and experience? Because at DOE, Department of Agriculture, are the two most important departments for the next 6 years, and people are seriously worried that the right person should be in those positions.
Totoo yan. Kailangan ang bawat isa sa aming nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, pati mga appointees, pag tinimbang, sapat, hindi kulang, at may capacity na patuloy na maging mas magaling. So definitely, I and the whole CA, I know will take our work seriously kasi wala namang shortage ng mga magagaling na Pilipino. And we've seen, some of the appointments so far of the President-elect have been really welcomed by different sections of the public. So kayang-kaya natin mga Pilipino makapa-appoint ng mga magagaling, lalo na kailangan talaga ngayong panahon.
Okay, there's a request here from our news desk. Who will be the other members of the Senate minority, and what are the plans regarding Farmally? Kasi nagbanta yata yung abogado ng Farmally, didemanda ka daw for paying a witness, or was it ano ba yung accusation? May binayaran, or mayroon ka raw intimidate?
Oh, well, gaya ng sinabi ko sa kanila dati, wala po kaming pinilit, tinakot, binayaran para magtestigo, at may mga resibo kami dyan. As for the minority in the incoming 19th Congress, so far, committed na kami ni Sen Coco Pimentel magbuo ng minorya, and we are talking with some other colleagues in the Senate na sumali sa amin sa isang gaano mang kaliit o mas malaking minorya, basta tunay na minorya, who will do our check and balance and fiscalizing functions properly, while at the same time being able to work with members of the majority on common bills. And as for Farmally, Cito, kung may anumang new matters na pwedeng ihain sa Senado, nothing is stopping the 19th Congress Senate from again taking up the investigation, completing the process, and really adopting a committee report for the use of the public and of the executive and constitutional bodies.
Is it true that incoming Senate President Miguel Zubiri, made the statement that he was willing to sign the Farmally report, Senate report, if President Duterte was not included in it?
Well, I read that that former majority leader, incoming Senate President Migs Zubiri said, and that's a valid issue sa usapin ng pagpirma o di pagpirma ng committee report. If any member of the Blue Ribbon Committee has questions about may sapat na ebidensya na ba tayo to make that finding. Sabi nga lang ni dating Chair Dick, sayang na hindi na sponsor sa floor para doon naman pwedeng i-interpellate, doon naman pwedeng i-amend. But each of us members of the Blue Ribbon have to make that judgment and that decision. And I respect the decision of each one. So kahit malungkot din ako na hindi ito na-sponsor, hindi ito na nagkaroon ng pagkakataon ma-adopt ng Senate, again in the 19th Congress, Senate, if there are any new matters we can raise, pwede pa rin kumpletuhin yung prosesong iyon.
There is a report that I just don't remember the name of the organization. There is a health sector organization that wants to file charges against the officials of the Farmally, subject to the cooperation of Senator Dick Gordon. Would you be inclined to assist them to file those charges against the Farmally officials?
Well, if they asked me, I would seriously think about it. I'm glad na labas sa amin sa Senado, sa Blue Ribbon, kung may mga civil society organizations na will take the process forward. Kasi talaga Cito, ang dami naming mga solid findings sa draft committee report, lalo na yung overpriced pandemic supplies. At ang dami rin naming mga rekomendasyon na pwede nang aksyonan. Hindi na lang ng mga government bodies, pero ng mga civil society organizations, even private sector organizations. So mabuhay sila for being active citizens on this matter.
What about, last question ko na lang, Senator Motik na naman ako, Risa. So, bakit ba ako Pia ng Pia? Last question, Senator Risa. Regarding the same subject matter, there were government officials who were implicated in the Farmally scandal. Now, what about those people? Was there any action on the part of the Ombudsman, Sandigan Bayan, etc.? Kasi nandiyan pa rin sila eh. Have charges been filed against them?
Not yet. And that's a really good question kasi halimbawa nung investigasyon ng Senate Committee on Women namin on the Pastilla scam, even while we were hearing that for almost 2 years, motu proprio kumilos na rin ang NBI, ang Department of Justice, ang Bureau of Immigration mismo, at ang Office of the Ombudsman to conduct their own wider investigation, to case build, and yes, to file cases, even to impose disciplinary action. So walang pumipigil sa mga constitutional at executive bodies, motu proprio, gamit ang mga findings at recommendations namin kahit sa draft committee report to, like that healthcare workers organization, to take action on this scandal. At ako magpupugay din sa kanila kapag kanilang ginawa yan.
If the concerned government agencies ay hindi kumilos, will you go after them?
I'd have to study that. Are they culpable for not taking action on a draft committee report? Hindi ko pa po alam as of this morning. Pero dahil nagawa na nila yon during the Pastillas investigation, I do believe nothing is stopping them from doing that on the Farmally investigation.
Okay, well, thank you very much and congratulations once again, Senator Risa Hontiveros. God bless you and
bless you,
may He protect you and give you wisdom.
Amen. Thank you so much po. Ingat.
Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is Senator Risa Hontiveros. And we go for a very quick break and we will return with the founder of Pure Oceans and Remaker Space, Pia Roxas Ocampo. We'll be right back here on Agenda. program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, on this Tuesday, the 7th day of June. And thank you for joining us. Our next guest is the founder and CEO of Pure Oceans, a marine conservation social enterprise working with coastal and island communities to keep reefs plastic free. She is a former advertising creative and turned social innovator. She is into strategic design, communication strategy, mentor, etc. Ang dami po niyang na-achieve na sa napakabatang buhay niya. Pero let's find out what her life is all about. Pia Roxas Ocampo. Good morning, Pia.
Morning, Sir Cito. Sorry you had to go through that mouthful.
No. I make it a habit. I try to make it a habit kasi, it is our way of explaining to people why our guest was chosen for a particular subject matter. Now, you're not just a local talent. I mean, you have associations abroad and you are recognized in your field. Now, why go? Because I used to be in advertising in my early years. I spent several years in advertising. After a while, I landed because of God's will and direction in journalism. But in your case, medyo malayo yata yung advertising and then punta ka sa dalampasigan mamulot ng plastic.
Super layo nga, Sir Cito. And honestly, I thought in moving towards working with the coastal communities and towards marine conservation, I thought I would be leaving advertising completely behind. Pero minsan nakakatawa kasi I still draw from my advertising and creative skills talaga to help solve these problems.
Yeah.
But the shifting actually came from the fact that I'm a scuba diver. So doon po talaga nagsimula yun. I've been scuba diving since 2011. So that's why I've been seeing the marine plastic litter problem up close. And that's really what led me to this path.
Okay, I mean, I used to dive. I used to be a scuba diver until I had 2 incidents of vertigo at I think I was about 60 feet when it happened. And my doctor said, Cito, maybe you should just look for another sport. Now, back then, when we were diving, it was beautiful. I to be honest, never saw a piece of plastic in the deep water.
Wow.
I would see them, at the shoreline, on the shoreline, but never in the deep water. How is it right now, Pia? Pag kayo ba nagda-dive, gaano kadalas kayo makakita ng plastic doon sa malalim na parte?
Wow, sir. It's nakainggit to hear what you're saying. So I've been diving since 2009. 2011, we started seeing plastics na underwater. Just yesterday, actually, just this weekend, we were in a place called Caban Cove in Anilao area. Baka naalala niyo pa po yung mga dive sites. And right, as you're saying, on the surface, you can see the current of plastic heading towards Frede Island Passage. But of course, apart from that, when we do actually dive, hindi kailangan umabot ng 60 feet. Kahit 10 feet lang, nandun na sa coral yung plastics. And that's really also po why my path got this way. Kasi every time I would dive, basically nakakita po ako ng disposable diaper na nakapulupot sa coral. So that's each and every dive talaga. And now if you dive, there's no way na hindi ka makakakita ng marine plastic litter underwater. So it didn't make sense na every dive pag weekend, makakita ko ng disposable diaper. Tapos come Monday, pasok po ako sa advertising job ko. Tapos yung JO ko, kung natatandaan niyo po yun, ay tungkol sa pagbenta ng diapers din. So I had to make a choice at that point kasi parang the two worlds were not compatible anymore.
Okay, now for the longest time, people like you who would spend time cleaning up the beach. Sabi nga nila, dati ang tawag namin dyan, beach cleanup. And then ngayon, nagkakaroon na ng free plastic day, etc. But for the most part, people who got involved in that, couldn't make anything. Sacrifice yan. Walang pera, you can't make money, or you can't run a business out of that. But you seem to have made the connection somehow. What is a Pure Oceans and Remaker Space all about?
Okay. Well, to be honest, Rosita, we're still trying to make that connection. But yes, Pure Oceans, we actually had to pivot because of the pandemic. We plug into this concept called circular economy. Your viewers might want to look into that later on. But basically, it's a global trend, a movement trying to get people to think about designing products and basically thinking how we manufacture and consume products. Ngayon, sa Pilipinas, ang konsepto ng circular economy medyo mahina pa, and we don't have enough industries yet supporting that. So actually what Pure Oceans does is we work on the side of the communities, one, helping them with waste management, where we work kasi, for example, on the municipality of Tingloy, which is a fifth-class municipality. The communities there are quite underserved. Simply, the LGU can't afford to have waste management for the communities. No? They're geologically disadvantaged, so tapos wala silang circumferential road, so hindi nag-work yung mga alam nating usual waste management solutions like dump trucks. So kailangan nila ng special ways to manage their plastic waste. At the same time, they also have to live with this waste, especially these coastal communities. Hindi po sila yung nag-generate ng waste na yon. So for example, where we still do cleanups, unfortunately, where we do our cleanups, you'll go to a beach, kunwari Caban Cove na, tapos makikita nyo layers and layers and layers upon plastic waste on the beach. It's not the community that generated that waste that came from much wealthier communities, no? So one, yung community mismo, wala na nga silang waste management. Tapos, inundated pa sila by waste from wealthier cities. So, tinutulungan namin sila to find a way to live in a more dignified way with this waste that ends up on their shores. And that means incentivizing actions like retrieval, collecting that plastic, segregating it, incentivizing that with livelihood. So we always connect marine conservation with livelihood. So yung other end po nun is dapat kapag kinolekta nga ng communities yung mga plastics at sinegregate nila at nilinis nila for upcycling, dapat meron naman tayong partner upcyclers or recyclers who will turn those into products of value, right? So we help, that's what Remaker Space is doing naman. We work with product designers, entrepreneurs who want to maybe put in upcycled plastic into their products or create product lines using upcycled plastic.
So what's happening is on one side, you are helping the community clean up their area from plastic pollutants that came from another city or other cities, and you're giving them livelihood. Alam mo, Pia, I don't know if I should be happy about it. Siguro yung advertising background nating pareho. I just came to realize na kung magtatanong ka ngayon sa mga baybayin.
While they're out, kapag may madaanan silang plastic, kung pwede nilang pulutin, and then that plugs into our system on their island or whatever it is. Per community kasi iba-ibang livelihood enterprises yung gagawin. But that what you said also points to the problem, of course. Plastic, basically a study in 2015 came out na published in Nature magazine na bawat peraso ng plastic basta dumaples yan sa coral, 20 times yung chance of death ng coral na yun just because of that one piece of plastic. So talagang direct po yung damage na nagagawa ng plastic pollution sa coral. And in the communities we work with, it's so connected to their food security, no? So we tell them naman, alam naman nila yun na bawat piece of plastic that they pick up, it also helps them in the long term. It protects their livelihood and their food source.
Okay, so what other activities? So you have collection activities, and then you have ways of training people, and then you upcycle the materials. But is it that simple? Yung mga upcyclers or people who buy this from you to integrate into their products, are they just mere merchants, or are they now getting involved, helping you and your organization?
In terms of partners, Rosita, actually, marami naman. I would say lang, ang kulang lang is scale, of course. Scale to meet the problem. So we have 20 million tons of plastic waste generated in the Philippines every year. Kahit po ipila namin lahat ng upcycler partners namin, hindi pa po siya kaya. Hindi po natin kaya ma-upcycler or ma-recycle lahat ng plastic na yon. But there are, and we also work with companies like, for example, like Coke Foundation or Nestle, where they actually give funding to kind of help them on this concept of extended producer responsibility. So it's these brands who are taking the responsibility naman for the waste that they recognize that, they're putting out there. So marami naman pong partners, pero kulang po tayo talaga sa upcyclers and sa upstream solutions, no? Like basically turning off the tap. Paano po natin babawasan talaga ang plastic waste natin?
Yeah, but are you guys taking any action to come together? Kasi ang dami ninyong mga bata. There are so many of you young executives, young individuals, idealists who are now spending more time on the beaches, up in the hills, trying to protect the environment, but you're all spread out. And one would think, pag nagsama-sama kayo siguro into a national organization, and you coming from advertising could easily formulate strategies that would, if not make more companies aware, will at least get the legislators on your side. Kasi parang, di ba, abroad, meron na silang shame campaign, mga environmental enemies award, yung mga companies who are given titles for their violation of the environment. I mean, of course, it's much better if we can work together than to have to embarrass companies. But what's happening in terms of getting everyone together, getting Congress and the Senate to do something about the problem? Because I've heard people in industry say, Cito, it is only in the Philippines where the sachet economy is very strong. Pero lugi yung mga bumibili. They think they have they're paying less for smaller, but it's bad for the environment and also bad for the customers.
Mm-hmm. Sir, ang daming. Okay, there's so much to unpack there. But I'll start with the first thing you said, no, around getting young people together who want to make a change. In terms of leading that, I think all these companies around circular economy, around alleviating marine plastic litter. Honestly, the space is still so small, so we do know each other and we do work together kasi we have to. Like our resources are limited, and then our partners' resources are limited, so we have to work together. And then taking the lead, of course, you have the more established NGOs, no? Or for example, UNDP helped put together a national action plan on marine plastic litter, and we work with WWF, for example, on pushing for a policy around the concept of extended producer responsibility. And actually, sobra po for fangirling backstage with Sen Risa. We've actually been in conversations with her around extended producer responsibility. And these are basically sets of laws that deal with making sure that brands are accountable, manufacturers are accountable for the waste that they put out into the market and into nature. That may mean innovating how they retail to the D&E market, no? So kailangan talaga i-revisit yung sachet natin. But that's all part of making these companies rethink nga. Like I said, the whole circular design concept na rethink how they sell to us, rethink how their products affect how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, how we bathe. We really need to innovate those things. you were saying nga kanina, because of COVID, ang daming changes in our lifestyle, and a lot of us in environmental sector are really hoping that bukod sa we rethinking how we keep healthy, we also rethink how we interface with nature, how we protect nature while living in it, and that means major innovations in how we produce and design.
Okay, what are your immediate plans for the future? Because, it's sad to realize from what you've said that the circle is still small for your movement and for people like your group. But what are the immediate plans to get people more aware? Kasi parang ako, miyat-miya na lang, wala na ako nakikita kung hindi pawikan that's full of plastic, whales that end up on shore because it's full of plastic, etc. And as you pointed out, you see an entire shoreline of dead corals because some idiot created a garbage dump nearby. I would think that dapat with your coordination with the Senator Risa, dapat talagang mortal sin and capital crime na dapat for any LGU to locate any garbage pile or garbage dump near any body of water.
Or even, so Sir Dom, the study that told us that we're the third biggest dumper of plastic in the oceans, one of their findings was that a lot of our waste contractors are cutting costs. So maybe instead na bumiyahe sila na malayo to dump in a managed landfill, they'll just dump it by the waterway. So marami talagang sources of waste leakage, no? And those issues have been identified. So yes, we would love to, of course, be more involved, and that has been done through WWF and UNDP in terms of like the National Marine Plan and Action Plan on marine litter. So those are in the works. On Pure Ocean scale, on our level, we're working with the municipalities of Tingloy and Mabini. What we've been doing this past year and will be continuing for the next 2 years, siguro, sir, is really piloting and prototyping solutions that then perfect namin at the isla level. And then it can be scaled and multiplied across other island or coastal communities. No? We are, Pure Ocean focuses talaga on the island scenario kasi iba talaga yung waste management sa island, sa coast. Iba special yung kailangan na help na kailangan nila. So we're looking for the solutions that work with them. And then once, okay na, so we've done a run of prototypes. So for example, we have a concept called the Soli Store. So ito yung sinasabi natin na redesigning how we purchase and how we consume. So you take the concept of the sari-sari store and we're testing now. Kaya ba ng mga Pinoy na instead na maraming bagay in shiny sachets, would they also be attracted to a store that's about, a bit more, mas limited yung mabibili nila doon, pero refillable, mas mura, at nakaka-benefit sa environment. No? So, concepts like that, see how we can make them work on ground, and then once they're great, scale and multiply.
Okay, last question ko na lang, Pia, do you support the movement to ban single-use plastic tulad yung mga soft drinks, etc.?
If just one word, sir, yes. But I understand that it's hard. But for example, in a place like where we work, kunwari isla, madali po yun eh. May moat system tayo. Pwedeng i-control talaga ang pasok at labas ng plastic. So possible siya, and
thank you very much, Pia Roxas Ocampo, founder of Pure Oceans and Remaker Space. Congratulations on what you are doing, and I am sure that the country in many ways is better for what you and your friends are doing. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Sir Cito. Have a good day.
Okay, that's Pia Roxas Ocampo, one of the good Filipinos doing something for the Philippines. Meanwhile, let's go to our weekly blessing. May the blessings of this day radiate through your smile, be helpful through your hands, and shine through your heart. Thank you for watching Agenda today, and please keep it here on One News PH.